G'day, this is Captain Noob, and this is an anti-armor black powder pistol. So, a black powder pistol, that's a new weapon in Fallout 76. We've just got a 1-star anti-armor one to get a little bit of a baseline feel of what this thing can do before we move on to more god rolls of this thing. So yeah, anti-armor will do us for now. A couple of interesting things to note about this weapon. Firstly, it was shown off in the very first little PvP thing we saw, the Bethesda release. Remember the dude shot the MG42 into a tree, hit nothing, and then the dude was called P-Garvey and he ended up getting capped by one of these bad boys. So yeah, that raised a lot of questions about PvP and how that was going to work, which I kind of left the flintlock pistol kind of out in the dust there. Nobody really gave a shit about that. Everyone's like, oh, PvP. What a shit show that turned out to be in retrospect, right? Anyways, so 175 damage, and also another thing we get, with this thing, you can actually mess up the preview transform. You can literally just put it off screen. It's gone now. Let's bring it back. But yes, 175 damage. That is completely unperked. So this is going to be a very, very heavy hitting weapon, which is good for a gunslinger because in terms of high damage output, your options are limited. So yeah, this is going to be the definite, really fucking strong one-hitting thing like the Dragon is or the Black Powder Rifle. So let's go ahead and upgrade that, and since it is a weapon or a pistol that is not automatic, we'll go ahead and chuck on these Gunslinger perks. I'm pretty sure I missed one. There it is, and I usually put one rank of Bloody Mess just to give us a little bit more damage, and with those things applied, we're almost up to 300 damage, and remember, we've got a little bit of adrenal reaction and adrenaline to tap into before we actually see this thing with its maximum power, although adrenaline is only at 42% because of my build. This is just a gunslinger build that I put together. I might refine it in the future, but for the most part, this is what I want to go with, just the 2 in adrenaline, which is a little bit of a shame because we need every point of damage we can get. But yep, let's see how this thing works then, shall we? Alrighty, so apparently a new server is required because I started recording here, then some idiot with a minigun just sort of showed up and started, you know, shooting at everything and messing up my stealth. And speaking of messing up stealth, yeah, never mind that. That just happened, but then it didn't happen. So here are my buffs and my armor bits: 2 chameleon and 3 unyielding, sort of an unyielding chameleon hybrid for, you know, damage and lots of special stats when I get to low health. But I think the success criteria of this weapon is, you know, being able to one-shot every single thing we come across, because that reload is, while it's not as lengthy as a Black Powder Rifle's reload, it's certainly a long wait between shots. And, you know, this thing, you want to make it good on its shots because it's not actually particularly good in the old condition department here. As you can tell, these super mutants can out-tank me here. I might have to actually just, you know, get these guys hit with a crit every single time I can pull one. Obviously, a mutant dogger like that is a little bit weaker than the rest of his friends, so I can get away with just shooting them regardless, but maybe I'll use them to gather crits. There we go, there's a critical. And if I'm feeling a little bit more daring, I can go for those headshots for even more damage, or perhaps I can just manually aim. The sights on this thing are kind of like that. It's a lot of guesswork, but you do kind of get a little bit of a reference where you aim through that little gold thing on the end of the barrel, I think, or towards the end of the barrel. If you aim just above that, you seem to be going alright. This thing is firing a big fucking ball projectile, and as you can tell, it hits friggin' hard. Does it do tumble damage because it is a spherical thing? I don't really know, but I doubt I'd be able to hit a shot like that in real life with a flintlock. These things were not incredibly accurate. And this thing wasn't rifled. The barrel wasn't rifled when we were looking at it in the preview transform. So a little bit of creative little buffing of this thing has, you know, done it well. But so far, so good. We are struggling a little bit sometimes. But now I've got adrenal reaction up. So that means we might be able to one-shot super mutants easy. Still is not going to stop me sneaking, though. I'm always going to sneak. From back here, it seemed to do alright. Keep in mind that I do have crack shots, so I can sort of get away with sniping like this. And of course, if you're not really comfortable with aiming down what sights this weapon gives you, aiming in third person is a good way just to follow up with these shots quickly. I think I've just activated a sound bug there. Let's just ignore that. That didn't happen. This game is flawless. And a coin flip shot against that guy's head seemed to have gone in our favor, so feeling pretty lucky right now. And yep, basically, if we can use this thing right and we can kill things in one shot, we can kill another 201 things before we're out of ammo for this thing. Obviously, it's going to break first, so, you know. But 518 damage is pretty damn solid, so hopefully we'll continue this streak by pulling spawns here. Okay, so it took a little bit longer for the super mutants to spawn today, but they are here nonetheless, so I think we might have to gather up adrenaline once more. But we've got adrenal reaction giving us a little bit more damage this time, so, you know, that's pretty good, I suppose. And for some reason, that guy didn't... Oh, he saw us, but then he didn't saw us. I think the same thing happened before. Maybe in the botch recording it happened, or... I can't even remember, like, 3 minutes back. That's... I should probably get some more sleep, shouldn't I? Alright. There we go, there's our first little stim pack used, probably of many, because when it comes to areas like this, that reload speed is going to bite you in the ass. And unfortunately, there's no perks for single shot weapons like this that I know of. I don't think Quick Hands works with singular shot weapons, because obviously, I don't know, that'd be overpowered, right? I don't really know why. It doesn't work for a Fat Man, doesn't work for a quad. Not a quad, a harpoon gun, which I found particularly annoying. So I think it's just if it's got one shot in its magazine, you can't instantly reload it, which would be excellent. Maybe if it was like a 30% and you could just get chains and chains of non-stop shooting out of this thing, that'd be awesome. But you know, they're actually shooting rocket launchers at me now. See, these super mutants really want me dead this time. And I've been neglecting the gunslinger for a while, so I'm glad to finally bring her out. I've been tuning her face behind the scenes, and it's really fucking hard. Really hard. Like, the hardest challenge of this game has been trying to get a close replica of the OG Captain Bridget's face in Fallout 76 without the face swapping tools that you'd get, you know, from modders of Fallout 4. It's just a whole lot of just guesswork. You have to go back and forth between photos. You can never get it quite right. And I think it's been noted that the character created, the proportions are a little bit different in Fallout 76, and the women don't look as good, to be honest. I prefer the Bostonian faces in Fallout 4. You could make them look a lot better in that game, at least in my opinion. But maybe it's due to the face textures mods that I've got installed as well. And we're back into hidden once again for some reason. So if you're using this thing as a stealth weapon, you could actually go pretty damn well with it. And you see, I'm not having to rely on VATS, which is a pretty good thing for this, which means I could probably sneak in some covert operative here and there, but you know, my agility is stretched so thin that it's bad. It's bad. Again, I'm going to prattle on about this, but I really think they should take the way that they sorted out the unarmed perks within the strength category, because you get the 3 points in unarmed and plus 20% damage, and obviously all of the unarmed things damages has been upscaled to, you know, make sure that, you know, that the 20% gain can compete with the 60% of other weapons, right? So I wouldn't mind like a buff pistol thing, but then having 6 more agility points to play with in my perks is just, it'd be massive. I think it'd make gunslingers a lot more viable, because your agility tree, it's something that you need for a lot of stealth related perks and all that, and that is very, very important for stuff like damage. So yes, I'm really hoping that someday they change that. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. I'm hoping that cowboy perk that they've added, remember those leaked perks? I'm hoping that perk there is just going to replace all of this nonsense that they gave us with that. We can't even one-shot a Super Mutant Overlord like that. That's a shame. Maybe I should just try and go for headshots. So making these bullets, I didn't really go over it, but it's like a bit of lead and a bit of steel, and you get 9 of these with Ammo Smith at rank 2, which is not too bad. Like, if you can make a good use out of them, that's 9 kills with it, right? Fuck. We're suffering in terms of damage here. We need to get ourselves back into sneaky mode, because, you know, stealth makes every weapon good. Except for a broadside. The broadsider can't be saved. There's what we need. Just more and more headshots. Got to stack those headshots on. Unfortunately, I can't... Never mind. Looks like VATS is kind enough to allow us to get those headshots when we need. I've noted this thing isn't actually all that accurate in VATS over something like 30 meters or something. You'll start to get under that 50% threshold, which you definitely don't want to take a shot on with this. Even if you do have concentrated fire, it's not a terrible drop, actually. Too bad it'll be under-leveled. Fuck off. Okay. This is where it gets a little bit insane, because there is just way too many super mutants around in this place to actually, you know, move around and kill them all. You're just going to spend most of the time reloading and then shooting your bullets pretty much instantly, or your balls, I guess, your projectiles, I'll use that word. And, you know, what that means is if you get yourself in a situation where there's a couple around you all shooting at you, it'll take multiple seconds to get the thing reloaded. Even if you do kill one, that's like 10 or so free shots if they've got an automatic rifle. And yeah, a miss with this thing is basically the worst thing that can happen. And you know, with my 9 perception, my VATS accuracy isn't that good. No, bad miss, bad. And now I've boxed myself into a spot where I'm being shot at by multiple guys. I'm being chased by a fucking doggo now. And the bash damage at 2 strength, if you can bash, it's shit. Don't even bother doing that. That's just a waste of weapon condition. You know, you need all of that condition you can get, because even with Gunsmith, with this thing, it's probably under half the fucking health bar now. And yep, we're being swarmed here by these fucking super mutants just because we can't actually get ourselves, you know, away from these guys. And, you know, not having a suppressor on this thing either means I can't just sneak around and take them on at will. At some point, I'm just going to have to face all of these guys, or they're going to run into me. And if they're all doing it in a group, I'm going to have to run around and use guerrilla tactics. And it's a mess. It's a very terrible crowd control weapon. So, in situations like this, there's no real use for it. A revolver would have been so much better. Instigating Western revolver would have cleaned up these guys heaps faster, would have been less messy, would have used less stim packs, and, you know, a 10mm pistol with a suppressor with like a guerrilla build, right? You can kill things so fast with that. So yeah, it does leave a lot to be desired, but, you know, if you're looking for pure damage output, this thing does have you covered. Alright, so with these ghoulies, I'm pretty sure that if we can make all of our shots count, it'll be a guaranteed one-shot kill every time. The fact is that this thing is a very loud weapon. Every ghoul and their mother will seek to kill me after they hear this thing go off. And by the way, this sounds cool. Did I just hit the sleep button? I mean, I was trying to loot him, but, you know... yeah, just have a nice snooze. Don't worry about fucking dying or anything. You know, that was the worst time... I'm gonna die because I'm just gonna sleep. Yep, okay. I'm gonna leave that in because that is so spectacularly horrible and stupid of me that has to be seen. I can't even tab to give up now. I have to sit through this 19 seconds, and you're not gonna sit through it with me. I'm not that much of a masochist. You know you're in real trouble if, A, you can't aim your weapon properly, but if you can't aim your cursor properly to loot a goddamn dead ghoul, you're fucked, basically. So honestly, this is not the weapon I should be testing. They should get one of those dudes who, you know, uses snipers in Overwatch all the time. And what was that? I died over a fucking fancy hairbrush. I'll take that red dress, though. I don't think this character has one. And, yep, looks like I've woken up the rest of the insane ghoul posse, so, you know, we'll deal with those guys as they come around. I did pick up radworms, though, so if I can lure them over here just to get a little bit of, you know, distance on them. You know, they're all aggro at this point, they're all chasing me. I think there's a deer over there that'll hopefully, you know, engage their aggro for a second. Also, what monster do we have over here? Just a Deathclaw. Well, you know what? You can die. Fuck you, Deathclaw. You dumb fucking animal. Okay, fearsome predators, they are not anymore. They're actually just kind of lame. Alright, so this is where you can see the real fucking problem with the black powder pistol. I'm gonna have to fucking spam this jump button and never goddamn stop, because I need to kill them, and if they hit me too many times, I'm obviously dead. That one's a roamer, but still. This would be the part where I'd say, yo, just switch to something else. This is not worth it. But for the sake of testing this weapon solely and beating a dead horse, because I am, you know, completely annihilating this thing, yeah. I did play the big sting that there's a cryptid around, so I'm going to see if that's actually a thing. Alright, back into sneaking, shall we? See how long this lasts. You know what? I'm going to take this critical. I'm going to blow the manager's head off. Alright, now we're in danger. Some more lads chasing us around. We'll just lead them around Benny Hill style. Ah, you're the cryptid that triggered my music. Yes. Okay, now you're dead. Get away from me. I think I just woke up the other ones around here. Dead. Thank you, escape artist, even though you don't do a whole lot. A swing and a miss from that ghoulie. And I think we're done here. And we only died because of our own stupidity. That wasn't the weapon's fault, but yep. Shit in crowd control situations. So, if you've got a quad one of these, that's better. If it reloads all four at once, then you'll be laughing. But yeah, just a one-shot version of these with the, a legendary effect that is good, but, it can't make the weapon good. It has to be good already before you can actually make a really good weapon out of it. See, anti-armor handmade. Well, it works, but it doesn't. It's underwhelming, but as expected. Did I forget to kill these guys? Well, I don't think I have much else to elaborate on in this crowd control situation, so I might as well sneak whilst I'm here, right? We'll go back for the torso for those guaranteed hits. No need to, go for headshots all the time, especially when we can drop these guys effortlessly just by shooting at them, so, Can we use the pool table as a good blocking device? Kinda. It works sometimes. It's actually easy to out-parkour the ghouls, so there's no problem in doing that. I've got no idea where those caps come from. Did somebody clear out some sort of settlement that I happened to pass by that the game said, "Oi, clear this out," because I didn't listen, and I got my 20 caps anyway, so thanks, Todd. Okay, now we can shoot other things, like Swan. Alrighty, so Swan is over there, 417 damage with our current adrenal reaction, which is pretty damn good, but remember how I said that the success criteria of using this weapon was one-shotting everything? Why not play to the very best damage that we can actually achieve out of this thing? There's Nerd Rage to get out of those rads, so hang on, I gotta take this perk out because I've just wasted a stim pack. Born Survivor, you can go, and I guess I'll get Covert Operative subbed in for ya. So 521 damage, which is, how am I still being irradiated? I was way over there. Never mind. Okay, unnecessary rads aside, let's go ahead and shoot him. Ooh, so close. Again, anti-armor, not bloodied, not two-shot, not explosive, none of that good shit. But we can still almost one-shot Swan, so that's pretty good. And we ended up getting our little stim pack back, so isn't that nice? And I'm guessing we'd have a bit more now. 544. Okay, this momentum will kill some crabs, eh? Alright, so against the glowing dudes, we should be just fine, because we do get a lot of bonus damage out of those blokes from, what's that called? A glow sight? That's good. That's a good perk for this, because if we're lacking damage, at least the tanky ass glowing creatures can, get a little bit more hurt by our attacks, which is nice. The hipfire on this thing is pretty good, I guess. It's not too bad, but honestly, I wouldn't be, hipfiring this thing anytime, because you definitely want to scope in with your shots, make them count, or sight in, I guess, because there's no sights on this thing. There's not even a scope. Just fucking point and shoot. Hope for the best, basically. That's my advice for the day. Point, shoot, pray. The 3 easy steps to staying alive and using a black powder pistol. Okay, on that revelation, let's get ourselves a queen to fight. And unfortunately, was that a hit? We'll get a crit this time. No huck and loogies at me. Bad crab. Bad crabby. Okay, this isn't working. I need to rethink this, and by rethinking it means I'm just gonna go in this direction and then crouch, and then she's gonna moonwalk towards me, all intimidating like she's playing with me here. She's trying to do what I do and fuck around before I easily kill the thing. Well, guess what? You're fooled by my escape artist tactics. Man, we are struggling here. So this is an excellent example of when this thing doesn't work. If you're facing against a giant thing which will take a lot of damage, without sneaking, you're in a whole lot of trouble. And I think she just dropped me a flame or two. Also a Salvage Assaultron head. I've got one of those. Maybe that'd be an interesting video to make, because you don't see a lot of people running around with those bad boys, do ya? Okay, so that bit of gameplay, I don't like it. I don't want to have this thing fail against a Scorch Beast like this. So when it comes to killing lots of enemies in a row, what you can do is just shoot your plasma grenades, or just regular grenades whilst they're flying through the air. And, doing that is a good way of, this crowd control situation where this thing is just shit at. So there's something you can do, and obviously it's a grenade, so it's kind of like a guaranteed hit anyway. And I'm not actually sure whether it boosts your crit damage, but I don't know. You have to look back at that and tell me if it does. But yeah. So Scorch Beasts, they've got a particularly strong method of, countering black powder weapons. Since you have to, fire this thing and then move on to fucking reloading it. He got detected for a second there. Okay, I've got a crit ready, so I'm going to use that on his face when he's closer. But basically, whenever they see you, they'll just summon, like, a mob of Scorched dudes to hunt you down, just like a posse of them, and, they'll be hard to deal with. Come on, I should have gotten your attention by now. And that is why you don't want to use this thing over range. That was a waste of a critical. And basically, what that means is you'll be swarmed with gun zombies, and you'll have to spend a lot of your time focusing, shooting, reloading on these guys, without any good... See, there's just two over there that I have to deal with now. Otherwise, they'll just keep on shooting me until I fucking die. And, stealth might not be an option all the time, so I'm lucky that I had... thing proc just there, and now I'm back into danger, and I'm gonna have to prioritize the bat here because he's obviously the biggest threat, but that means this guy's got free range to whack me. That fucker in the background shooting me with his rifle's got free range. Now I've got like 4 dudes on me and I can't deal with this. So in normal circumstances I'd probably just switch to something else at this point and say fuck this weapon, but for the sake of testing this for what it is, I'll just keep on going. And I was lucky enough there to get some good sneak attack criticals on it. But as you can tell, these guys, how long is it going to take me to take out all of these guys before I can, be out of combat? Especially when I fucking miss like that on an 85% chance shot. That's some bullshit there. Activate some criticals just to add insult to injury. But keep a note all this time that I'm... Okay, that guy's not a part of it, but he's here anyway. Keep a note, just note the time that I'm, keeping or killing all of these guys individually and how much time that would leave for a fucking Scorch Beast to get on top of me, drop acid, drop all of those gamma rounds that they fire out of their faces. It's not a good weapon to use against Scorch Beasts. Maybe for something like the initial hit, if you've got a really strong one, then sure, go ahead. But anything, different from that, it's not great. So not a good Scorch Beast weapon at all. And obviously that extends out to the Queen too, because she's got an even stronger posse of Scorched creations that she just throws at you through the fight. It's a mess of a fight, but it'll be even more of a mess when you got this thing. So I think I'm gonna give this thing a set of rules for it to follow some protocols, I guess. If you've got more enemies on your screen than you have in bullets in your weapon, then don't even bother with it. So basically, it's a solo 1v1 thing because you'll be fucked otherwise. And also, don't use this thing unless you can guarantee a one-shot kill on it, which means, yep, there's very little reason to ever use these things. And it's a shame, really, because it is a powerful weapon. It could be used for... a lot of good things, but obviously with this prefix, it's not that good. So, yep, at least we got ourselves a Scorch Beast kill without us dying there. Took 4 tries, though. 4 fucking tries, would you believe?